Hi everyone, it's Lynn here from Devine Central. I am here with the third in a three-part series on crazy tarot myths. Actually, just tarot myths that irritate the heck out of me. Okay, so the first one, and I will put it down below, access to it. The first one had 9 items. The second one had 8. And this one, the third, is going to have 7. Okay, so the first one that I'm going to tackle today is, I don't know, it's something that I've had a lot of discussion on with other people. You can't be a good tarot teacher if you haven't got years and years of experienced reading under your belt. I absolutely don't agree. There are 2 schools of thought when it comes to learning tarot. Okay, you can either rote memorization, or you can throw away the little white book and do everything intuitively. Now, I happen to be in the first camp. Tarot has a huge 400-year history, rich and ripe with all kinds of lessons and meanings for the cards. Many of the meanings, even though they dovetail off in different directions quite frequently with the new decks, they still have the same basic understanding. The strength card is about, strength of character and strength of conviction. I mean, and you can take it in whatever rabbit hole you want to take it down, but in the long run, it still comes back to that. So sometimes we just need to learn those, because if you want to throw away the little white book and just hope that Spirit's going to come to you, and you're sitting in front of somebody, and I don't care if you're brand new or if you've had years and years of seasoning, there comes a day when Spirit decides to take a powder and you're sitting there stuck with nothing. I've seen it happen, and they have nowhere to go. At least if you've done your rote memorization, at least if you've learned the meanings of the cards, you have some place to go, because all you have to do is say the name of the card, right? Okay. So I think that for somebody to learn rudiments, they need the support of that. I think that 3 of the best readers I know that that have the most wonderful handle of the interpretation of the cards and the mindset and the way they develop them are all friends and family readers. They're not professionals. So I don't necessarily believe that you have to be a qualified hundreds and thousands of readings under your belt in order to be a good teacher. You just need somebody to support you in learning the basics, right? So let's take a look at let's, as an example, a basketball coach. Okay, he could have such a love and such an understanding of the game, and such a good way with people, that he could be a terrible basketball player himself, but he could be a terrific coach. I think it's the same difference. Okay, number 2, always say what you see. Now, see, I'm even torn on this one sometimes. I feel that it's important for me to find a way to convey the message that Spirit has given me. But I know in my heart of hearts, I have the right to choose how I deliver that message. And sometimes when we look at these cards, we can either reframe the message or put it in a softer, kinder way, more compassionate way. Or we can maybe look in between, look deeper into these cards for a moment and figure out which ones are connecting cards. Some of them are just simply connectors. So for example, let's say we have the Queen of Pentacles, the 10 of Swords, and the 6 of Cups. I may say, be practical. It is time to end for once and for all these past grievances that you have with your sister. See what I'm saying? So, gee, did the 10 kill somebody? No. It could just be the connector card. It could be the card that says, put an end to the next thing. So it's just a matter of practice. And the more you practice your various ways of reframing things, the easier it is when you're actually in front of someone. Okay, so number 3 is you shouldn't read for yourself. That's another one. Do as I say, not as I do. It's one of those rules where I think it really boils down to, can you read for yourself? Because personally, I can't. So I know that personal bias can influence my intuition. Sometimes I'm too invested, and I know that the desired outcome I want could, substantially override and affect that reading. But for me, it's not even that. If I'm sitting down and looking at a reading of a serious nature or a serious question or a life lesson question, I look at it and sometimes I just draw a blank. And this is coming from someone who seldom ever draws a blank. For myself personally, I like to do the simple, everyday, mundane questions. You know, what should I have, this or that for dinner? or or what does the universe have in store for me today? Or what surprise should I be looking for today? Or who is coming into my life today? I mean, simple things that I can find at the end of the day. Things that if they do or don't happen, don't matter. Things that are like not as important. When I really need to get some good insight, I turn to somebody I know and trust that actually knows me well enough and can actually help me decipher and figure out what my real issues are on a particular topic. And so I turn to somebody else. But that said, there's so much on using readings as a personal way of growing and learning about yourself. So it's silly to say that you shouldn't read for yourself. It is not a good rule. Number 4, you can bond with your deck if you sleep with it under your pillow. I don't even want to address this one. I just think it's so ridiculous. The cards are pieces of paper. They're not magic. The magic is within you. The magic is spirit that infuses the energy into those cards. I don't think you're going to do anything other than damage them by sleeping with them under your pillow. I also happen to believe there's a lot of good energy in crystals. I don't sleep with those either. So, suffice it to say that I don't think you need to worry about anything affecting your cards for the better or worse by sleeping with them. Okay, enough on that one. Number 5 is you need a mentor to learn tarot. Now, I wish I would have put this one, rearranged it in a way where it was after number 1, because truly they kind of do go together. Do you need a mentor? Learning is well worth the money. But it's not necessary. I had a great mentor when I got back into it. But I don't care how good your mentor is. You have to do the work. You have to put in the time to learn it. You have to put in the time to practice it. And no mentor can do that for you. You have to do it yourself. So if you believe in giving yourself a good, solid understanding of the cards and the meanings of the cards, you have weeks and weeks, if not months, of work to do before a mentor is really going to be able to help you that much. You need to be able to flip through those cards and give like a keyword or a key phrase or something. You have books to read. You have YouTube videos to watch. You have a lot to do. I'm going to be coming out with a video pretty soon on specifically step-by-step how to learn tarot on your own. So watch for that, okay? All right, moving on. Okay, there's 2 left. Number 6, you should never read for money. Okay, so, I've been making fun of a lot of these, and I really don't want to make fun of this one because I really think it's a choice. It's something that you choose. It's something that you feel. I mean, if you want to be a friends and family reader forever, there are some wonderful friends and family readers that I know, and they don't charge anything for what they do, and they do better than, believe me, some of the quote unquote professionals that I've seen set up shop next to me at a psychic fair that couldn't read their way out of a paper bag. But you know what? In ancient times, spiritual leaders were well taken care of. I mean, they were provided for by their by their followers with food and herbs and shelter and clothing. I mean, they bartered for that. But even today, we put in so much time and effort to learn tarot, and and all the cards and the reading cloths and the candles and the stones and everything that we gather, the books, the classes that we take. We put a lot of time and effort and money into it, and we deserve to get that back out. But beyond that, I have learned from corporate America, where I spent 30 years in sales and service. And I've found that people don't truly appreciate what they have unless it costs them something. And I just, as the Nine of Wands to me says, something worth having has a cost. And I really feel that charging a reasonable amount of money to somebody, they appreciate the reading more than if you were just to sit down and give it to them for free. There is a flip side to this, by the way. It is, a professional should never read for free. And I don't agree with that either. I do agree that you should never ask somebody else to do for you for free what they do for a living, but that's different. If I am sitting in a coffee shop and strike up a conversation with a lady next to me and she's very forlorn and she's upset about something, and I say, you know what, I'm a tarot reader. Would you like a reading right now? I wouldn't charge her for that. I don't charge friends or family for that. Sometimes I'm just feeling like doing a reading for free and I don't feel like charging. And I do that because it's what I want. It's my choice. It's not a rule. I don't think I'm breaking any professional standards here. I just think that it's a choice that you make, and however you feel. If you feel generous, you give. All right then, last one, number 7. Tarot readers can write spells and remove curses. Listen, the average everyday tarot reader does neither. Now, there are witches and other Wiccans out there that do both, that they can read tarot, they can read cards, and a lot of them read oracle cards, and they still can do those other things. But, there are a lot of grifters that are still out there today, gypsies. And in fact, we had one in Minnesota, a couple of gals that actually got caught, and they were jailed for theft by swindle. I think they got $125,000 total out of like 3 different people by writing spells and removing curses. And Dionne Warwick said in her song, "Walk on by." And if you get somebody that lures you into tarot to tell you, oh, they see this bad, horrible thing, and and you're cursed and they can write a thing, you need to run, not walk on by, right? So listen, I was at a psychic fair 2 years ago in Minnesota. We got a couple of gals that came in with a booth, and this was a new event planner. She wasn't up on all this type of thing, and she let them have a booth. Well, the first thing they did was set up and have these $10 special, see your future, and they would lure you in, and they would and you would say, yeah, I want a reading. And they would say, do you want a palm or would you like a full card reading? And they would say, well, I'll take the card reading. And then at the end, they would say $50, or $75. And the person would say, well, I thought it was $10. Oh, no, well, that was for the palm reading. That wasn't for the tarot card reading. And they would kind of pressure them and embarrass them, really, into giving them the money. And then they would try to sell $300 curse lifting sessions. And a couple of people complained to me about it, and I took it to the event planner, and not before I took it to 4 or 5 other readers, and we kind of all band together and made sure that they were removed. And it's people like that are still out there in force, and they do give us a bad reputation, everybody. And so that's not a good thing. But to me, of all of these 3 sessions of, tarot myths and rules, it is a myth that tarot readers are going to write spells and remove curses. And I think it's real important that you make sure that you feel people out and ask them before you even start a session. Hey, can you remove a curse? Because if somebody says, "Oh, absolutely," I think even somebody that can remove curses or that does that work would say, "Well, I'd have to first determine whether or not you have one." I don't think they would just automatically jump at that. So beware with that. Listen, do me a favor, please. I'd like you to subscribe. I'd like you to ring the bell so you know when my next video is coming out. And I would certainly like you to at least like this video so other people can find it. I have a lot of new stuff coming out on my site. Please watch for it, and I will see you soon. Bye-bye.